No doubt there were a lot of people downtown at 2 a.m. That's when most of these establishments close. Tony, we've seen in 2021, 13 people were shot in downtown Austin. That investigation we saw took many, many weeks. What is the step going to be from here forward as we move through the day today?
So this is, of course, a large scene that officials are processing this morning. So that involves everything from trying to get security video, not just from Buford's where this happened, right outside that establishment, but also trying to get images of the person arriving at the scene. So going to all of the area businesses, nearby businesses, asking them for their security so that officials can trace the shooter's movements leading up to this attack. In addition to that, they are also trying to talk to as many people who may have been inside or outside the business about anything that they may have seen or heard in the moments leading up to the attack. But again, based on preliminary information that local law enforcement obtained this morning, they have asked and sought input and further work from the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. Again, I just want to reiterate that they believe that both a pistol and an assault rifle may have been used by law enforcement in this attack this morning. So a major investigation, trying to talk to witnesses, trying to gather video, and also trying to learn everything they can quickly, urgently about this gunman and what may have been his or her motivation.
It's all about piecing together the information, and you have to do it in a very, I guess, judicious way. But as far as even the timing, you brought up a good point, Brian. 2 a.m., if we recall ever going out, you know, when you're younger, you go out and you stay out late. That is a very kind of a very busy, kind of tumultuous time. The bars are closing. Everybody's kind of trying to find a ride home. So it's a very busy time. And I'm sure there was more people kind of gathered to maybe exit the bar maybe at that time.
Most critically, what we know happens is that people spill onto the street and onto the sidewalk. And so we're talking about a large volume of people, potentially hundreds. We were talking earlier about the fact that so much attention by local officials has been on the east side of 6th Street, east of Congress Avenue, where again, we had the 2021 mass shooting that killed multiple people, killed one person and injured multiple people at that time. And in the years since, emergency responders have really ramped up their preparedness in that area, focusing on East 6th Street. But officials were quick to note this morning that one of the reasons they were able to so quickly get paramedics and emergency responders to this scene is because they were already staged in this area near downtown this morning.
And let's be specific on the location. Buford's is right there on West 6th. The shooting as we know it did not happen inside the bar. It happened outside on the street there at about 2 a.m. this morning.
That is correct, and involved apparently a person potentially driving by, the shooter driving by using a pistol initially, but then parking in the area as well. And as we speak, authorities have gathered around that vehicle and will go about searching that vehicle, but then possibly then returned quickly to that area using an assault rifle, possibly an AK-47 in this attack. So again, a very major investigation, very, very upsetting to our community, and of course, all of the people who have been directly impacted by this. And I do want to say, as part of the work of investigators this morning, part of what they are also trying to do is actually tragically contact family members and let them know that their loved one has been a victim in this shooting. That is part of the work that police officials are carrying out.
That is just so awful. As far as just also speaking to law enforcement and then just the response, within a minute, EMTs were on the scene responding to potential victims and to these individuals, right?
Exactly. And then one of the things that they did was set up a triage area so that they could very quickly determine who needed to go to what hospital. We know that they have sent patients to a number of different hospitals, 4 of them, I believe. Of course, Del Seaton is the level 1 trauma facility in our city. So the most critical patients would have gone to that facility. But again, unfortunately, unfortunately, there were multiple people at the scene who were pronounced deceased at the scene this morning.
Just back to your news at the top of the hour about the Joint Terrorism Task Force. When a federal agency like this is involved in an investigation, are they essentially the lead? Is that where the information will come from at this point?
This is now being described to me as a collaborative investigation, very much involving the Austin Police Department. But it is not uncommon when we are dealing with a major event like this for the FBI to lend its expertise, which they do in a number of different ways. They have a certain skill set, oftentimes, particularly around digital forensics, that they can bring that expertise to this as well. We know, for example, going back many years to 2018, when we had the 21-day package bomb spree, that the FBI worked hand in hand very effectively and very cooperatively with the Austin Police Department. So even though that was some years ago, there is a tradition of those entities working well and effectively together. So initially the FBI was brought in for that purpose, but as officials got into the scene and began examining the evidence and possibly looking at this person's body, maybe what they were wearing, whether or not they had any sort of notations. There was enough evidence and enough information that they saw preliminarily that they then notified the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Again, this person's motive is obviously not clear, abundantly clear to anyone at this time, but it does underscore the significance and the concern that local law enforcement had when they first arrived at the scene, that they wanted to tap into these federal resources.
Real quick, I do want to point out, you said 3 officers shot the gunman. Are those officers okay? Are there any officer injuries at this hour?
We know of no officer injuries at this hour, but it is our preliminary information that those officers, those first responding officers, were met with gunfire and potentially a weapon being pointed at them as this was unfolding. But again, what exactly transpired in those moments is part of the investigation that will span days, weeks, potentially even months. But the urgency, again, is trying to figure out whether or not this person was acting alone.